Well, these are the March organizers. Thank you very much, Doug. And we have Jim Hughes here, President of Campaign Life Coalition, and Jeff Gunnarson, Vice President. Gentlemen, it is nice to have you again here. We thank you on behalf of everybody for organizing this march, on behalf of all of the organizations and all the people, all the pro-lifers here in Canada. So how are you feeling today, first of all?
Well, first of all, we should alert the viewers in the United States if they see a nun flying by. This is Canada's version of the flying nun. It's pretty breezy here. But it was Nellie Gray that was being interviewed by the late Mother Angelica on EWTN, who talked to her about the life principles, which were no exceptions, no compromises, etc. And we pretty well followed that here. In fact, we responded to her challenge of starting a March for Life here in Canada, and we did so 21 years ago. And I can remember the late Dr. Bernard Nathanson, one of the founders of the one of the founders of the pro-abortion movement in the United States, saying that Nellie Gray was one of the people that was responsible for him becoming a Catholic, along with the late John Cardinal O'Connor of New York City. So we've been attempting to follow what she practiced, and it's been a real chore because of the situation here in Canada where no pro-lifers may run for two of the three federal parties. And so we're trying to work with a third one in order to get pro-lifers.
So we're talking two behind us here. Two out of three of our parties do not allow anybody with a pro-life conviction to run?
That's correct. And not only that, the Summer Jobs Program, which has been in effect for years and years to help students work during the summertime. If you were pro-life and didn't follow the pro-abortion principles of the governing Liberal Party, you couldn't get the money.
So we're going to talk about your 40 years of service to this very shortly, but I wanted to talk about just something that Jim was talking about. We're talking about a democracy here, and a democracy that's not happening in this country. I understand there's some new zone laws that are going to affect the march today, that are affecting Ontario, the bubble zone laws. Can you tell us what those are all about?
Yep.
Jim?
We just in the last several months, this has become a big issue. They brought down bubble zone legislation a couple of months ago, and here in Ontario. They're also working on it in other provinces. Alberta is about to succumb to it. BC has bubble zone legislation. Quebec does. But essentially it's creating a space, a so-called safe zone space, because you see pro-lifers are very, very dangerous people. And we got to keep them away from abortion clinics.
I don't see any danger happening here.
Oh,
I see people I see people smiling. I see families. I see people celebrating life. Yes, concerned about this issue. Why the scare?
Yeah, it actually is based on lies, all of it. We've actually got proof. There is absolutely no foundation for this bubble zone to be in place. There's never been an incident where there's never been any sort of violence. No pro-lifer's ever been convicted or even charged, for that matter, of harassment. So it's completely built on a pack of lies. And of course, the Liberal Party was more than happy to put the zones in because they are against the pro-life position. So anything that can further the cause of bringing about more access for abortion, they'll do that.
Before we throw to the 40 little vignette that we prepared for today's broadcast, I want to ask you. You've 40 years of service. There's a lot of people, so many people. Can you? We could spend all day talking about 40 years, but I want you to pick one event over the last 40 years that sticks out in your mind, whether you were with the organization or not. I know you have been, but the last 40 years, pick one that you could share with our viewing audience that sticks out in your mind.
The heroic efforts of grassroots Canadians doing this work day in and day out with absolutely no credit for what they're doing. Prayerful people that are just absolutely wonderful, and it's been an honor to represent them.
Jeff?
Well, I got to say that back in '96, when I became involved in the pro-life movement in a very casual sort of way, I came up here, gosh, it was probably the first or second one, the second March for Life. What was the year that we had quilts all over the place here? And that was I think of the first time I came, and it impressed the heck out of me, and I really started to engage after that.
Yeah. Well,
those quilts weren't to keep the people warm
No,
either, although
we could use a few today. Well, gentlemen, thank you. We're going to chat with more of you representatives throughout the day from Campaign Life Coalition, and but we want to just do a little commemoration of the last 40 years. There's so much you're going to see in this next little minute video as we commemorate and recognize the hard work of all of the volunteers, all the organizers, all of the politicians who have stood up for life. We'll roll that video now.